Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Idam dhammam sangham namasami. So, take leave to speak a little louder this evening. Please sit wherever you can hear me. If you want to hear me, that is. If you don't want to hear me, then it's even easier. As the microphone system's all defective, so I have to project a little bit. Please don't think this is kind of imperative or more domineering than usual. It's encouragement, reflection, offering points of reference that hopefully my intention is that you can make use of them, one or two of them. Not all of them, probably, but something there to give some focus and investigate and explore for yourself. And your own wisdom arises, not mine, but yours. So it's not trying to indoctrinate, but to encourage you to find a way to bring out your own clarity and discernment. Because everyone has this possibility to develop it. We'll use terms like wisdom. It seems so high and even theoretical, but panya, the ability to discern, to check, is this that or is it that? Is it red or is it green? Is it painful or is it pleasant? Is it skillful or unskillful? Does it cause stress? Or does it alleviate stress? Does it alleviate stress in a skillful way, or is it just a collapse of attention? Eventually, what brings fruition? A sense of stability, relief from inner turmoil, or congestions, or contractions, or the things that oppress people. They always have oppressed people. So how does this happen? How do we alleviate that? So the Buddha's path is one of wisdom, to discern how this happens and to discern how it doesn't happen, how we dismantle it. This path that acknowledges the fundamental punya, value of being human, value of the mind. It sacralizes it. Whereas we find, say, materialism, particularly secular materialism, individual human being is only worth as much as their ability to consume or produce, or invent or create. So if you can't do that, you're not really much worth. A lot of our intelligence gets exported to machines and systems that can do it for us, so we end up being kind of pointless, really. It tends to devalue the human. Just plug me into something and give me a program and get the wheels rolling. And this occurs not just in physical means, but also in intellectual means. Just take the easy answers, believe the easy solutions. Jump at the slogans, Follow the easy slogans, the simplistic solutions, the short-term gains. This is a stupefaction of the human ability to be intelligent, discerning, and reflect. What gain is it if I'm losing my mind, my presence, my value? And so the desacralization of the human being is always you're as good as your ability to have something. Have an idea, have a job, have money, have glamour, this, that, and the other. It's always add-ons, and to get as many add-ons as possible. And though there's a lot of, a whole range of add-ons one can have in terms of degrees and places to live and so on. Yeah. The underlying theme is without it you're worthless. Yeah. Without it you're worthless. You don't count. We're just trying to make ourselves into something that would be worthwhile. And this is the recipe for depression and anxiety and stress. Because you begin to recognize, to keep getting more and more of the good stuff, you've got to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and the underlying theme of you're fundamentally worthless kind of sneaks in. This is truth is worthless. One's words have no, you can just say any old rubbish. The quality of truth is negotiable, purchasable, disposable. The quality of virtue is a matter of just getting a good lawyer to fix things for you. You can't get a good lawyer, then you're likely to get not treated very well. And so this innate potential of the human being is something that's is in danger of extinction, just like every other valuable thing. Value because it is, not because it does and has, it is. And of course, a fuzzy idea is, what's that mean? But Buddha, awakened, is supremely valuable by being awake, free from corruptions, free from anxiety, free from pressure, free from pushing people around, consuming, manipulating, free from these things, unrestricted by defilement, suffering, unrestricted by aging, sickness and death. Unrestricted, the Tathagata dwells with unrestricted awareness. Great potential. Sounds pretty valuable to me. So, punya, translated as merit or sometimes goodness, but I like the sense of value and worth, because it gives you the sense, isn't just the judgment, this is good, that's not so good. There's a real quality there that you can directly touch, feel. It's enriching. One's life becomes ennobled, enriched through cultivating some core qualities, some core processes and practices that eliminate the hindrances, corruptions, distractions. And this is essentially the whole main thrust of the Buddha's teaching, is to do just this. And often we're starting from a default of devalued. Citta, the heart itself, doesn't know itself. It's always getting lost in ideas, dreams, passions, fears, worries, opinions, views, personality issues, histories, bodies. Always getting lost in these kind of areas that limit its potential to a series of emotions or a series of notions and ideas or philosophies and views, or just even just being a male or a female. I mean, no matter how good a male or female you are, the body is, it's still not that good, really. It still hurts, gets tired, ages, gets blemished, it's knocked around. So what's the point of really making a big deal out of that? There's citta, spirit, heart, awareness, mind. And not to divorce that as something separate from everything, it's something that can suffuse and be accessed through every thought, mood, physical experience. So within this very body and mind, this body with its consciousness, perceptions, feelings, mental inclinations, consciousness. Buddha said this is where you find the world arising, the worldly attitudes, their ceasing, and the path leading to their ceasing. The citta is free. And this we cultivate punya, because it's a building up value, and value accumulates. Whether you want it to or not, it just does. So you keep, practicing virtue, restraint, goodwill, kindness, renunciation, honesty, truthfulness, straightforwardness, non-manipulative, strengthening attention, forgiving, opening, all these, then you will by, that's what does it. It builds up. And then the result is a certain strength which is not pushy. Strength that's not pushy. There's an inner richness which is not about having things. There's an inner warmth, loving, which isn't about infatuation or sentiment, which is natural goodwill. And there's a clarity, which is not about having great ideas. It's just the sense of open, clear, warm, steady. And it can infuse the human being. In this place, then, naturally, what can arise from that are skillful intentions, because there's no reason to, why should it be any other way? If you're not stressed or pushy or craving or frightened or nervous or fed up, what naturally arises in the heart is qualities of goodwill, in various forms or another, things that enrich yourself and others. This is called the field of punya, punya kekam. So as we practice together, we living cooperatively, helping each other, giving each other space and encouragement, steadying, and generate a field of punya. There's a collective quality to it. And everyone who commits and practices like that will help to generate this quality. So that people want to come here, to taste it, to dip into it. And be reminded as though We may have it, it may occur in a monastery. It's not about a monastery. It's not a place. It's not about any particular individuals. Lay women, lay men, monks, nuns, it's available. There's no discriminations in that area. Depending on each individual's direct perceptions and encouragement and attunement to what's valuable. There's a certain sacred quality about it. And sacred means you can't buy it. You can't own it. You can't claim it for yourself. It's beyond that. And just consider how many things in this world are really sacred. Not owned by somebody. Not commodifiable. So this really is an important project to be part of. Generating and sustaining the field of punya, or value. You take it on, you come from that place, you start to review other people in terms of valuing them. You can turn them wrong way and look at people and criticise or compare who's better than this or that or the other. Is this, is that? And you try to look, you see the qualities of integrity, qualities of commitment, and perseverance, qualities of goodwill. And those are the ones you focus on. What you focus on will amplify. That's also natural. The nature of citta, whatever you put your attention on, that will increase. There's an old process called jhana, absorbing. You put your attention onto something skillful, it will increase, you get a positive one. Put attention on something unskillful, you get a negative jhana. The Buddha described those, you get absorbed in hindrances. Says it's just like a donkey, the wrong kind of jhana. But if you put your attention on what feels valuable, for a sense of worth, stay with it. It will increase, it will amplify. And long-term benefits. And teaching and considering like this is to also to overcome the natural fragmentation that occurs in the sensory world, where we've got day and night, we've got big people and small people, we've got people doing this and people doing that, some people on silent retreat, some people working in the kitchen, we've got work practice, we've got meditation practice, we've got training sessions, reflections on sila. So all these differences, even in a place like this, where it's not particularly complex. Someone can easily think, well, we should be doing more of that or less of that. Or he does a lot of that, but doesn't do any of this. You want to get a practice that can encompass all of it. And the name of that is cultivating Buddha Parami in time, punya, value, and Parami, transcendent strengths, such as the strength of virtue, strength of generosity, strength of renunciation. And these are both heartful and they're also about having a clear head. It's where the head and the heart come together and have to be activated. So the head sense is that which gives you a sense of, discipline, discerning this rather than that. Yeah. And heart is that which dispels the differences. It gives rise to a suffusive quality. They're necessary because we have to first of all and continually discern what sends the heart in the wrong direction, what is a wrong direction anyway, and discern, and then, okay, that's something to be looked at, investigated, turned away from, or moderated, or checked. Some intelligence going there. And then to ability to enjoy and linger and take in the qualities of what arises, what skills are present. And this is the heart. Heart takes in, receptive, takes it in, and it discerns. Is that. So we've got to have them both. You're just all head, you're going to get into this and that, and this, and you're looking for a system to do this and that's that, and trying to organise it all, and get things to work, and then you get into doubt about which is the right theme, or the right thing to focus on, or how long should I do this for? How long should I practice loving kindness for? Don't stop. Can you imagine? Sorry, I've stopped practicing loving kindness now. You turned up at the wrong time. So we start to think, well, what does practice mean? Some kind of doing thing. And unfortunately, this is the way the head works. Now you do this, then you do that, and you do an hour of vipassana, then you do an hour of metta, then you have a break, and be reckless and careless. Okay, and then do an hour of recrimination. and then maybe, work it off and then go to bed. And the next day, shake it around some more. So you get these kind of systems, attachments, called Sila Bhatta Paramasa, which is a head problem, attachments to rituals, attachment to systems and customs. We're searching for security in that which can be planned, discerned and organised. And it does produce a sense of definition. And we assume that what's definite, seen as an object, must be secure. Because I can see it, I can think it, therefore it's secure. I can plan it, therefore it's secure. I can get it all worked out. I can get the kitchen organised exactly right, therefore it'll be secure. And what happens? Stress. Somebody starts not wanting to do it the way you do it, or things don't quite work out, or run out of turmeric or something or the other. This isn't right. When somebody comes up, brings a whole load of dana. So the system, any system by itself, any system must break down. That's the nature of it. Any system, it will break down. Because life is not a system. So when you're trying to fit things into boxes with labels on them, be careful. There's a gratifying tidying up mentality that there's a sense of security in that. And nothing wrong with tidying things up, but imagine it's going to give rise to a sense of security and completion. Everything is illusion. Because security isn't found in anything, any structure. Security is found when the citta sits in itself. One feels confident, comfortable, steady. Not because of something, some constructed stuff. And the aim of, constructed the sila, the vata, so sila, vata, paramasa, the first sila, customs, vata, ways of doing things repeatedly, customs and duties or customs and systems. We use customs, we use sila, and we use duties and routines, we use them. It's the paramasa, that's the snag. Paramasa means something like fondling. you know, like us indulging in, or leaning on, or clinging to. And it's always then you get sila causes right and wrong, blaming, criticizing. If you're too organised too much, you can get a very critical, snipey kind of mind. And if you organise from the heart, organisation is a reality. Human beings, it's from life, which is organic, felt. You can't. It's like water. You can't put it in a box, like flowing water, but you can flow gently, steadily, in a composed way. And then the sila that we use is there to help us back to that place. Restraining from abusive, controlling, manipulative, distracting behaviours. Then you can settle into proper behaviour, which is beyond definition as such. The Buddha called it matters of minor morality, even though he certainly emphasised it. So this is just there to help guide citta through this stream of life without getting snagged. So what is that? Sila. When sila, morality, becomes an expression of loving kindness, then you can rely on it. When it becomes an expression of respect, an expression of value, because I value you, then I don't tell you untruth. Because I value you, I don't gossip. Because I value you, I don't foster your will. And this is not just the decision. Eventually, when that true valuing is established, then any inclination that comes up in the mind associated with disrespect feels very distasteful, which something pulls away from it. Disrespect or deceit, manipulative, pulls away from it. Tastes bad, don't want that. Then you have that, then you have really established sila, not just as obedience to rules, but as a deep value. It will never let you down. You're not seduced by urgency, getting things done, being the best, getting everybody to obey you, frightened of not being good enough, guilty over minor errors. You don't get snagged in that. That's why it's very important to keep that overall sense. So you look at value, then that gives rise to both loving kindness, compassion, enjoyment, appreciation, equanimity, and virtue. We take something like a generosity parami. Something means that the enjoyment of it is because in that the heart comes out of that narrow state into something that includes another with that gesture of the pleasure of including another and contributing real pleasure in that. So when your heart feels like that, you know, oh yes, it's in the right place. This isn't about getting them to do me a favour, or because I ought to. This is a genuine expression. You can give service, give truthfulness, give hospitality, give advice, and you give material things. And really the most important ones are the immaterial, because it's what really lingers and stays much more than material goods. Giving attention. Really bringing the heart into practice, into constant review, and then you're looking into that with your head, if you like, and assessing, how is that? Where does it waver? What kind of things cause it to flounder, or capsize, or get fed up? And this is the principle of Dhamma Vicaya, or exploring, investigating the Dhammas that arise. And it takes discipline. To stay with it and to look into blameworthy experiences, experiences you don't really like about yourself, phenomena that are agreeable, fleeting, mysterious, unexplained. You're not just judging it, but you are assessing it. Feels like this, goes this way. So this is Dhamma Vicaya. And with this we begin to really see where phenomena arise. They can be triggered by perceptions, by impressions, by that immediate flash of she's this or he's that or it's this or it's that kind of hit. But where they rise up is in the body. You get a sense of something lifts, something stirs, something tightens, something loosens, something moves. You can feel it in your nerves. And it's such an important piece of meditative understanding, because your body will always tell you the truth. Whether you're stirred up, defensive, depressed, elated, spinning out, getting a little bit dizzy, scattered, flat, it will tell you it, because you can read it, and you can read it. So without this access to what occurs in the somatic domain, investigation just becomes endless analysis of, I'm like this because that happened, and she's like that, and this isn't what I came here for, and surely Mahayana Buddhism is like this, and doesn't the Buddha say we should be more compassionate? Why is he more compassionate in Tibetan Buddhism, whereas in Theravada Buddhism I want some more compassion? Well, do it then. It's all in here. What's stopping that flow? Don't feel grounded. You come into your body, not settled. Something's bothering you. Deal with that. Explore what's bothering you, what's blocking you. It's not Buddhism that's blocking you. It's not monasteries that are blocking you. It's not hierarchies that are blocking us. It's the perceptions that trigger feelings of anxiety or inferiority or judgment or blame, or seize the heart so the heart closes down. And this is what happens for all of us. So you're looking at those trigger points, not going into the topic. I'm feeling upset because he did this and that and the other, which in one way is true, but right directly. Because somebody will probably, you never know, but not everybody's going to fit my way of seeing things. They might be unconsciously rude or consciously rude. Through intention or without intention. That's theirs, isn't it? That's theirs. You don't have to make it yours. So if you come into that, what's happening in your body, and you feel that sense of irritation or wanting to lash out, understandable? Does that give a good result? Short term, maybe good. Yeah, Oops, long term, oh dear. That's going to take 3 years of talking things over to try and erase that. It probably still remain as a memory. How many of those have we acted upon? And 10 years down the line, you've still got the memory of it. Oh dear. Have to work it out now. And go back to those places where you flared up, or sank down. In always, the Buddha says, you go back to there, you say, okay, that's a lesson learned, that's there, you need to cultivate heart. Metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha, kindness, compassion, appreciation, celebration of the good, celebration of the lovely, equanimity, serene, openness, emotionally available but serene. So then we cultivate those two dhammas that arise. As they arise, they jump up. The feeling of stories come up. Narratives come up. Slogans come up. Opinions about people and things come up. What does that feel like? Don't follow the topic, don't follow the narrative. Well, it's my advice. I have plenty of them myself. Going back to the root. Devalued. I've been devalued, I am devalued. It's not fair. You get to that, remember, everybody gets this. Unless you're totally established in the field of punya, things knock you out of it. And then you feel devalued, lessened, inadequate, failure. And then you get all the statistics to prove it. And you can absorb into it and make a thing out of it. And try to counteract it, cover it up, compensate for it. This is the long way round, and it doesn't actually cure it. You've got to start returning to the place of value, stability, and contemplate from your steady place the energies that arise, holding steady. So the principle of Dhamma Vicaya isn't just exploring so that you know something, but exploring so that that which does the exploring, the citta, held mindfully, stays steady and kind. It stays heartful. So as you touch into the fear, its quality of steadiness and heartfulness is stronger, and the fear can't catch hold. It begins to melt. You touch into the feeling of inadequacy, a kind of sinking down. Citta stays steady, contemplates that, not in a hurry to get rid of it, not rejecting it, not dismissing it. Energy wanes. So very much on the energetic level. Because that's how it gets into you. That's the food, citta. That's how it gets in there. Citta translates sights and sounds and impressions into constricted energy, flaring energy, distracted, wavering energy, sunken energy. It goes down with it and it starts to concoct mind states based upon that energy. And You get a heavy, flat, dull energy, you can heave and push and all you like and it's not going to move. You just contemplate. And how does the strength come? Where does the strength come from to do that? Mindfulness immersed in the body. As mindfulness immersed in the body is the fountain of all wise states. It's the source of all wise states. This is pretty much verbatim from the suttas. It's not the physical body, but the quality of mindfulness when it's anchored in the sense of the presence of the body, that in us which feels here, upright, stable, however that is, anchored there, then that doesn't sink into the vortex of devaluing and abstractions and fragmentation. It stays steady. This is how you drain these karmic histories of their power to take over. And it's quite it's a practice, because some things are extremely powerful. The ability the urge to distract ourselves is not a flimsy thing at all. It's powerful. To not have to be present, to go into a fantasy somewhere or another, to go into an idea, abstraction, get me out of here. It's been the default escape route that Jit has taken to try to get out of stress, try to get out of this bleak, empty, barren state of the uncultivated, unawakened Chitta. So you've got to wean it by, you don't necessarily start with that capacity. You wean it by noticing and valuing himself, others, valuing the movement of the body, valuing clear speech, valuing every time that you check an unskillful impulse and let it pass. Value builds up. Value builds up. Heart arises out of its gloom, and its sense of being trapped. And then you establish that in the body. The body gives it strength. Strength counteracts the pull of these corrupting forces. This means the heart is even stronger. You feel confident, you feel bright. Then heart is stronger, more open, warmer. See things more clearly. You're not bothering to turn your head towards things that have no particular value. You're much more resolved on where does suffering arise and stop, rather than speculation around politics or state of the world or alternative realities or artificial intelligence or conspiracy theories, which, but where do you get out of suffering? Where do you get out? Where do you find that sense of fulfillment? Not in following any of that. So you look at this, the agitations and the complications, the things that you'll get it all figured out. You cannot figure it out. This goes beyond the sphere of reason. And there is a place beyond the sphere of reason. The Buddha said, this is Nibbana, this is where I encourage you to go. And this practice, steps, we can sort of imagine, well, we have to do all this boring stuff, past stuff, and we just jump into unconditioned awareness straight away, just be the knowing, unconditioned awareness. Maybe, but noticing where the mind jumps, it rarely really jumps into unconditional awareness. Maybe for some individuals it could, but the Buddha taught us a reliable path, a steady path that's to fit everybody. So it's just this collecting oneself in the body, collecting oneself in thought, collecting oneself in heart, where they come together, where the composure comes together, where the clarity comes together, where the living warmth is established, not lost, not dependent, then corruptions can cease. So we cultivate. And perception is such a powerful trigger. Like tonight we have this midnight vigil. And you think midnight vigil, got to stick here till midnight vigil. Time 9:30, took a break down, get back at 10, do some walking, vigil, 11:30, I feel terrible tomorrow. You can spend the next 2 hours thinking about how terrible you feel the next day, and you will, I guarantee. Because you'll just feel terrible the next day if you do that. We used to have all nights, once a week, all night vigils, 2 or 3 or 4, and you could kind of dread them. How can I get through this? And plan and try to have enough coffee at 7, maybe it'll give you enough boost to get through. But you need coffee at 7, and by 11 you're coming down. Oh my God, no. A cup of tea at midnight, maybe some fudge or something. So trying to struggle through till 2, and then eventually about 3, finally something gives up. Oh, then ding, the bell rings. And the last 10 minutes, you were finally settled into something stable. You spent the rest of the night planning and fantasizing and worrying and doubting. And the next thing that happens again the next time. Eventually something starts to dawn, like forget the idea, here you are, let's just hold this together best you can. If you can't, that's up to you, we've got to practice with ourselves. It's not a conformist unit, but it's an opportunity to challenge, to cultivate, to strengthen, resolve, bear with what's difficult to bear with, all good stuff, simple stuff. And that's a possibility. So it's a field, and you can see what the possibilities are. In terms of you, in terms of your citta. But the whole theme of this is a benevolent theme. It's maybe tough love at times, like really let's make an effort here because it'll be for our welfare. But if you're finding it struggling, totally negative reactions, then it's always up to you. It's your life. And we'll give that back to you. But your life is not the life of that nattering in your head. It's not the life of that worry and doubt in your heart. That's not your life. Your life is truly beyond that. And that's what we are inclining towards. Getting through this very tricky swamp, mountain range of mental proliferations and emotional disturbances to arrive at somewhere rather profound and sacred. So let's take responsibility for our actions and mind states and cultivate.